Hi everyone, how are you all doing today? I am bringing you 30 movies that I can watch on repeat. Now, what I mean by that is movies I can watch at least twice in a row. So, let us begin. Probably my favorite live action movie. This is the story of a girl who basically finds out she's pregnant, and the stuff that happens to her during that time. She decides to adopt her baby out, and it's basically about her parents, the boy that got her pregnant, the adoptive parents. I just like her character. I like that kind of smartass. It reminds me of people that I know. She has that, shield, that smartass shield and everything, but obviously she's still a very human character. And I don't know, I found the story humorous, realistic in some ways, funny in others, but not too over the top. The drama wasn't too over the top and everything. It's an easy movie to watch. Like I said, it has this really funny moments. I like that she's kind of a developed character. She isn't just like whoever her boyfriend or whatever is. And the same thing with the guy character. He's not whoever she is. They have their own personalities. They go through things. While they don't go too into what it's really like to be pregnant and everything, that's not really what it's about. I think it's more just about life and how you deal with things. And I like her friend in here, because her friend is one of those that seem like a normal girl when you look at her, but like when they showed her room, it was like kind of creepy, and I kind of like that kind of thing. I would love to have a friend like she had. And Yono had a hamburger phone. I mean, come on. That's just awesome. Next up, also by Diablo Cody, Jennifer's Body. Again, this doesn't deal with teen pregnancy, but it is a teen movie. Horror, thriller, whatever you want to call it. It's just entertaining. It's like not too horror, but also not too teen. I mean, it's got all those things mixed up that you would really like. So basically, two girls are at a club or whatever you want to call it. One goes off with a bunch of guys who do a ritual on her, thinking she is a virgin, when she's actually not, and she kind of becomes a succubus. So, it's really good. I like the fact that the boyfriend's not overbearing in this one, and they have trust for each other, and that she does stick by Jennifer for a while until things really start getting bad. Then, because I talked about those two, I have to talk about this one. Mean Girls. One of the most quotable movies ever. Like, that is so fetch. And don't look at me. Which is hilarious. So, this one is about a girl named Katie, who has lived in Africa with her parents. I believe they were zoologists or something like that. And now she has moved to the States. And she has always been homeschooled. And now she is coming, like I said, from a whole other continent to the United States. So she really has no idea about like American culture and how American kids act, because she's always been over there and she's been homeschooled. So obviously she's very out of her element. She is befriended by basically two of the outcasts, and then she gets into one of the cliques, which they call the Plastics, and stuff happens where people try to get revenge on each other. And again, kind of like Juno, it has humor, but it also has serious moments to it. And I think this one also has a really good balance. Probably my most favorite movie ever, next to Juno, would be Lilo and Stitch. Now, this movie, I also saw in theaters, and I just instantly fell in love with it. We had it before, and then I had to go and get it again. This is the Blu-ray copy, which also has part 2, but that's not on this list because I didn't like it as much. But this movie is beautiful and heartwarming and funny at the right moment and just adorable. So it starts off with not like 2 separate stories, but, you know, kind of characters with their own things going on. So you have Stitch, who is an experiment, who has been exiled to Earth, and Lilo, who is a lonely little girl. Her parents have passed away in an accident, and she's now living with her sister, and things are not going so well. She's having a hard time adjusting. Her and her sister are fighting, and then along comes Stitch, who they mistaken for a dog. And so the story basically is about Nani, her sister, trying to find a job, and Lilo trying to make Stitch into a good citizen and everything. There's a scene where stuff kind of goes wrong at the beach, and Stitch is dressing up like Elvis, which part of the movie I don't see how people don't notice things. Like, he's blue and kind of deformed. I don't know why they thought he was a dog. Also, again, he dressed up like Elvis and played guitar. I'm not sure how people didn't notice that. Dogs can't do that. But I guess that's part of the imagination and the whimsy and all that other stuff of this movie. It's just Lilo herself is, while you feel bad for her, she's also a little kid, so she's also over dramatic, and I think that's the kind of part that, now that I'm older, I really find funny, because, like, my own kid is like that, and I could just watch this over and over again. It is just so cute. Another movie I saw, Finding Nemo. Unfortunately, Finding Dory will not be on this list. While I didn't like the movie, it just didn't really hold up for me. I mean, I own it and everything, but it does not beat this. This one is about a father. He's a fish. He's a clownfish. He's basically afraid of everything, and then one day his son Nemo gets picked up by some scuba divers, and he has to go basically across the ocean to Sydney, Australia, and he is teamed up with Dory, who is a very forgetful fish. And this movie deals a lot with, you know, the dedication of parents. Obviously, Dory's forgetfulness and, you know, the hardships of that. And you have sharks who are trying not to eat fish, which is very funny in its own way. I'm really not understanding why the one shark, Bruce, though, no, actually it was the 3 sharks, are one of the only ones that you meet in, like, the ocean that actually have an Australian accent. Crush the Turtle was also pretty cool and funny. And just Marlin's reactions to things. Marlin is the father fish. It's just the things this poor fish goes through. It's just, you know, these 2 movies here. Again, like the other 3, you can watch these back to back. A movie a little bit more adult, but still hilarious. Step Brothers. This one is different from the other ones. This one really isn't heartwarming or anything. I just find it freaking hilarious. These are the kind of movies that I watch when I'm having like a down day. This is basically about two grown men who still live with their parents that have now married each other. They're stepbrothers. At first they hate each other. And it's like sibling rivalry. And they kind of act like children, which is obviously the humorous point about that. And it's just hilarious. South Park, bigger, longer, uncut. Do I really have to say too much about this? This is a South Park movie. And it's awesome. I mean, you have Kenny dying and staying dead. You have them going to war with Canada and a musical number by the devil. I mean, it's just all kinds of ridiculous, but it is South Park, so what do you expect? And they did a really good job on this one. This is better than the Simpsons movie. And for the longest time, the Simpsons was like my favorite show, but this one here, this was the best, one of the best movies made from a TV show. Monsters vs. Aliens. So, girl is going to her wedding, gets hit by a meteor or something, and she turns into a monster. Goes and gets locked up with other monsters, and then they have to go and fight aliens. And you just have like a good cast of characters here. I mean, Bob. You can't not love Bob. I mean, he's just so clueless. Sometimes you just want to hug him. So, for the next ones, I'm counting these individually, but you have Shrek, which deals with Shrek going to find Fiona or retrieve her. And then, of course, the other stuff happens. And, well, you know what happens with Shrek. Shrek is basically a fairy tale retelling. It's humor, but for children, but there are some stuff within these movies that definitely adults can understand, but it's not too out there to be inappropriate for children. So basically, he's going to save a swamp. He goes to get Fiona, but then obviously things don't go his way. And then you have Shrek 2, which then him and Fiona are married. This is where we find Puss in Boots. And obviously, Fiona's father does not like Shrek because he does not like the fact that he's an ogre. I like the sequels better than the first one, although the first one you can watch over and over again. They do get better. However, I did not like the fourth one. But then this one deals with them, their father wanting them to take over the kingdom, but of course Shrek does not want to do that, so he goes to this high school, which is kind of this newish, whatever you want to call it, / medieval themed kind of thing. Like, they have Arthur and stuff, but it's more like how teenagers would be now. And it's just, these movies are just, like I said, I love the humor in them, that adults can understand them, but they're not too inappropriate, or children can't watch them. So it's like, it's one of those where like everyone can get something out of them. The next movie, I read the book because of how much I love the Hunger Games and everything. And at first, I really didn't like this movie. Not that I hated it, but I don't know. I felt they left a lot of stuff out, or I felt they just didn't go in depth enough with the characters. But it is an entertaining movie to watch. It's actually kind of a good movie to have on in background. It has enough drama and enough action where it's well acted and everything. And it's not bad, and it's a good book to movie adaptation in my opinion. It's just that, as a reader, obviously, I'm never satisfied. But that is Battle Royale. Again, this one is violent, but not too over-the-top gory, which I hate gory. Like, I can stand some, but too much is too much. And like I said, this one is well acted. I think it translated to the screen pretty well. If you don't know what this is about, a bunch of children in Japan go, or like I say, I think they're going on a field trip. They are basically gassed and they wake up on this island and are told that they have to murder each other. And if they don't by the third day, then all of them will die. And like I said, I like the acting in this one. Since I talked about that one, I must talk about the Hunger Games. So we have the Hunger Games, which starts off with Katniss and her volunteering and going into the games. Then we have, so this one I really liked. I'm going to do a video on book to movie adaptations eventually. Catching Fire was really good. I like the whole arena setup and everything. This was one of the first ones that I read the book before I watched the movie, because I seen the movie of the Hunger Games before I read the book. So, other than leaving some stuff out, I think they did a good job on, like I said, translating book to movie. And again, I like the people they picked to play the other tributes. Then Mockingjay Part 1 and Part 2. So, out of the movies, I know a lot of people actually like Catching Fire, which obviously I do is on this list, but these two right here, the very first one and the very last one, are my favorites. So this one obviously introduces us to the story, and I just love the acting in this. I love just that, the music they picked, the feel and everything. I really like Catching Fire too, but I felt they left too much out of that one. This one though, the creatures are even better than the first movie, because the first movie they kind of changed them and I didn't like that, but like, I think this one is really well done. I'm actually one of the few people who didn't hate the Mockingjay book. I just was kind of disappointed about it, but I thought this one, book to movie, the very last part of this, excellent, excellent. The effects, I think, are good, the creatures are good, and yeah, it's just great. So, the next two I don't have. I only have one of them, and that's Scary Movie and Scary Movie 2. These are basically horror spoofs, parodies, whatever you want to call them. Both of them revolve around a character named Sydney. And basically, they were spoofs of things like, if I remember correctly, Poltergeist and Scream and, God, what else? I Know What You Did Last Summer, and they're just hilarious. Like, I could put all of them on the list, but I really like the first two the best. Another movie that is not, that I don't have with me because I lent it out to a friend, which would be Frozen. Frozen, yeah, it's overhyped and everything, but it's a nice movie. Again, it's easy to watch. It's just, I like the characters. I like the fact that while one of the girls is kind of really into wanting a boyfriend and finding love, she still is her own person. She still has her own personality. And again, there's that bond between sisters, and I have to love Olaf. You gotta. He's just so cute. And you just want to give him a big, big hug. So, for those of you that don't know, Frozen deals with a girl who has powers that she can freeze things, and then things get out of control, and then her sister has to go and find her and bring her back, and obviously stuff happens in between. Another one that I have on the list, or two more that I have on the list that aren't here, would be Toy Story and The Corpse Bride. Now, Toy Story deals with toys who come to life, and a new toy comes in, and when the other toys doesn't like him and everything, and I just love the humor in that one. And The Corpse Bride is the Tim Burton movie, dealing with a man who has accidentally married a corpse bride, and it has great musical numbers in it. So, going down to the last few movies, we have Up. Now, Up is sort of in the same category as Lilo and Stitch and Finding Nemo. It has a lot of sad moments, but it's a beautiful story. And kind of adventure-y. It's about a old man, his wife has died, and he decides that he doesn't want to go to a retirement home. He wants to fly to South America. Well, little does he know that this Boy Scout, or whatever he is, named Russell, who he sends to do something, is actually still in the house when it goes up in 1,000 balloons, or whatever it is. And so they're on their way to South America together. And the beginning just makes you cry. Sadly, the ending kind of makes you want to do the same thing, but in a little bit more warm, happy kind of way. It's hard to explain, but if you need a good cry, you can watch this one. Bee movie. This one is just fun. It is about a bee who isn't satisfied with doing just what bees do. He wants to go out and see the world. He doesn't want to just make honey. He doesn't like the fact that bees work all the time. Just being a regular bee is just not for him. And obviously he gets himself into some trouble. And yeah, this one's cute. The Craft. New girl moves, to a new town. Drama, goth girls, witchcraft, revenge. Just a kick-ass movie. Not the most realistic thing on paganism or witchcraft or whatever, but it does actually have actual elements and stuff. I guess it really depends on what you believe. Like, I don't believe in what they talked about in here, but still, it is entertaining as hell. And the last one, Ever After. This is basically a Cinderella retelling. I don't know what I think about this. It could be the acting, it could be the atmosphere, the clothing, the fact that it's pretty much set in the time that it is, and I don't know, it's an entertaining retelling. I really enjoy it. I don't like too many dramas, but I really do like this one. So anyways, I believe I covered all of them. Oh, actually, did I mention Ted? I don't think oh no. There are two that are not here that I can't believe that I did not pick up. Oh my god. So, one of them, oh no, three actually I'm looking at. The Nightmare Before Christmas. Halloween Town, Jack Skellington wants to do something different for Halloween and ends up going to Christmas Town, discovering Christmas, kidnapping Santa Claus, and then you have a mixture of Halloween themes and Christmas, and it's just awesome. This movie obviously has the darker elements to it, great songs, just this creepy yet fun atmosphere to it. I think I really love the movie now more that I've learned about it and the work that went into it, and I just love, you know, art and creativity and such. Things like that. Another movie that I missed that I can't believe I don't have here because I thought I had it in my pile, but that's Zombieland. And Zombieland is freaking hilarious. So basically, 4 people meet up in a zombie apocalypse, except that it's more of a horror comedy than straight up horror. And again, the quotes and everything, the scenes, they're just hilarious, especially that whole Twinkie thing. And it did have a little bit of drama to it, which gave it, the characters, like, depth, I think, but it still stuck to that humor. The other one I don't think I mentioned would be Ted 2. Now, I liked the first one, but the second one I loved. I got it from the library and I watched it twice in the same day, then a few more times before I had to take it back. Obviously it deals with Ted, who is a teddy bear that has come to life, and now he's trying to fight for the right to marry his girlfriend, and it's just, that is so not for children, and I laughed my ass off in that movie. So, I think I have now... Oh! And Monsters, Inc. So, Monsters, Inc. deals with the world of monsters, and they get energy from the screams of children, and then when the children get into their world, and 2 of them have to deal with keeping her secret and getting her back, and it's just, I like the friendship between Mike and Sully, and again, I like that whole kids can watch it, but it still has enough humor for the adults not to get bored. So those are movies that I could watch on repeat. Tell me what you think. Do you like anything that I have mentioned here? And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.